He's reached a 20-goal mark with 2 goals last night. He is Nazem Kadri of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He joins us now. Nazem, thanks for joining us. We're just talking a little bit before we get to your game, talking about Mitch Marner and how he creates, separation, how creative he is out there. From a teammate's point of view, when you watch Mitch Marner, what goes through your mind?
Like you said, creativity, talent. He's certainly a special player, especially when he gets that time and space off the rush. You can certainly create some plays out of nothing. So it's fun to watch him, and I think he also makes players around him better.
Okay, enough about him. You now, your fourth 2-goal game of the season. Like, you can't get a hat trick. What's your problem?
Well, hey, I was pushing last night, but I couldn't. Unfortunately, I couldn't seal the deal. But I think there'll be hopefully more opportunities to come in the future.
Nazem, last year, you were getting a ton of scoring chances. I know you talked about it in the media a little bit. You had a ton of chances, couldn't put the puck in the net or struggle to put it in, especially early. And this year, same number of chances, but it's going in. What have you done? I've heard, skill guys that work with you on a quicker release and all. But is it just maturity? Is it just growing into the role? What really is it?
Honestly, I think it's a little bit of everything. I worked hard this summer just trying to, get that release off my stick as quick as possible. And obviously, on the power play, it doesn't hurt either. Just being that middleman and picking up a lot of loose change and just being good at finding spots and good at creating some space down low and putting the puck in the net. So it's been a little bit of everything. I got some great players around me playing too. So every single time I'm open, I feel like I'm getting the puck. So to have a good start to the season is definitely crucial too. To have a few pucks go in the net early, and that kind of builds your confidence.
Did it go through your mind in the first 10 days of the season that I'm not going to let these two kids show me up? I'm good. I'm gonna be every bit as important. Did that ever enter your mind?
Not really. Because I knew
Tell
I
the
was
truth.
Honestly, Doug, I'm telling you, because Lou made it clear to me and Baz that I was going to be an important player, in the role I was playing. And in order for us to be a good team, we need depth. We need everybody to score. So, I'm rooting for those guys to score, and I want them to score every game if they can. But, that's definitely not going to, make me less hungry to score. I still want to be able to contribute offensively and, amongst other ways.
Nazem, let's go back a couple of seasons, and I don't bring this up because I want to remind you of maybe one of the worst experiences you had as a pro hockey player, being suspended 3 games, which was so significant, and at times you think, wow, that was really harsh. Now you are here enjoying the best moments of your Leaf career, and when you look back at that, was it a blessing in disguise? Were you able to learn from whatever you needed to go through to get to this point? Because I look back at it and I say, maybe that was the difference between you being where you are today and maybe not.
Yeah, that was certainly a crossroad in my career, and I know I remember when it happened. That was exactly what came up. It was almost we wanted it to be a blessing in disguise and to kind of get the message. But that being said, I am proud of myself for how I handled the situation, and like I said, that could have went one of two ways. It could have went how it's going now, or totally opposite. So. I just stuck with it. I knew I wanted to be an important contributor to this team. I know I wanted to be a Leaf long term. So, I had to make some sacrifices, and especially with having these young kids around, I really feel like they can come to me and lean on me for those types of things because I've been there, and I've had some pretty dramatic things happen to me, and I've learned from them.
It's funny. I think back to when you were drafted by Brian Burke, 7th overall, and I think back to talking to the Hunters about not you, but about other players that they had that I had dealt with, whether it was Nash or Method or Fritchie, different guys. These two guys never wavered about Nazem Kadri since the day you were drafted, that Nazem Kadri is going to be a real important player for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That must make you feel pretty good, that the history you have with those guys who are hockey lifers.
It did. That was very significant for me because I'm a type of person that doesn't like to disappoint, and I knew Mark was in my corner from day one, and he had had my back when Lou and Babs came in and said, "Hey, this is a guy you need to keep around." For him to put his neck on the line for me like that, I certainly wanted to come through for him and obviously make him look good. So that was very important and significant in my development.
One of your more notable games this season, you seem to live in the hip pocket of Connor McDavid. The next time the Leafs met up with the Edmonton Oilers, anyone say anything to you before the game in the warm up? Lucic, Cassian sort of slide by. Because I mean, that really was one of the more signature moments of the career for you this year.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, I had a couple guys talk to me, but I mean that's not going to discourage me. I think if anything, that kind of motivates me even more to shut down a special player like McDavid. And obviously, it's no easy task. So I had to be on my game, and I wasn't about to let any of the other players try to distract me from what I was trying to do.
Nazem, you sat down with Elliot Friedman. You talked about the strategy when it comes to shutting other teams' lines and how Babcock's included you into talking about perhaps looking at lineups and you picking who you might want to go up against. That's a far cry from what you experienced in your first 5 years with the Leafs.
It definitely was, for sure. I mean, that was something that was different for me, but I feel like that, him being able to do that definitely shows the trust that we have and the connection that, he believes in my opinion. So I think that's important for a player and a coach to have that relationship, to be able to talk through those type of things.
So, you're on pace for 35 whatever goals. What's Nazem Kadri's next sort of step as a player? What do you really want to become as a NHLer?
I just want to be, one of the best two-way forwards in the game. Obviously, that I'd love one day to be in conversation with the great players that are talked about for the Selke, and that's a dream of mine. I would have never dreamt about that when I first got in the league, but now it seems it might be achievable. Obviously, I have a ton of work to do, and and the guys that are nominated are tremendous players. But
So,
one day I want to be in that category.
so you're saying right now you're going to be better than Patrice Bergeron to me?
I'm not saying that, Doug. Don't put words in my mouth now.
That's a great goal, man.
Sure is.
That's something I wanna achieve.
Hey, listen, every game you guys win, it comes more of a reality that you guys can make the playoffs here. Someone that's just under 400 career games in Toronto, as one of the older guys now, what do you say to the kids moving forward here with the success that you've had and how sometimes you can get ahead of yourselves a little bit? What have you pulled in the last 5-6 years here in this city that suggests that you don't necessarily look any further than the next game?
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, you hit the nail on the head with that. You can't get too ahead of yourself. So you got to stay grounded. You got to stay humble, because I've been in the situation where we've come close to a playoff spot and kind of just fell off the rail, and things can happen quick, and they can happen dramatically. So we just got to stay grounded. I know we're a tight knit group in the room. We all trust each other. So just to have that support from everybody definitely helps everyone feel better.
He's gunning for the playoffs. He's gunning for the Selke Trophy as well. Nazem Kadri, thanks so much for stopping
Good
by
luck,
today.
Nazem.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.